जय।
न गुरोरधिकं तत्त्वं न गुरोरधिकं तपः तत्त्वज्ञानात् परं नास्ति कृपालु गुरवे नमः कृपालु गुरवे नमः कृपालु गुरवे नमः. Radhe Radhe everyone, and we will now do a little kirtan, excuse me. A short kirtan before I start. Guru Govinda Govinda Guru Govinda Guru Govinda Govinda Guru Govind. Excuse me. Guru Govinda Govinda Guru Govinda Guru Govinda Govinda Guru Govinda Guru Govinda Guru Govinda Guru Govinda Govinda Guru Govinda Guru Govinda Guru Govinda Guru Govinda 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 Guru Govinda Guru Govinda 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 Govinda Guru Govinda. Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai. Srimad Sadguru Sarkar ki jai. Today, I will continue to speak on the path of devotion, which we have discovered with the grace of the scriptures and Sri Maharaji, that it is the only path that can lead one to God. And so we are concentrating on learning more about the path of devotion. And last time I had reminded you, because you know this already, that devotion is practiced by the mind, and the devotion that we practice through our sense organs is not counted as devotion. Our sense organs are helpful in the practice of devotion. The more we involve of our more body we involve, more of our physical parts such as eyes, ears, and that we involve in devotional practice, the more our mind receives help. Our mind becomes encouraged. It becomes the chanting becomes more interesting to the mind. But if we subtract the mind, if we are thinking about the world and only using our sense organs in the practice of devotion, then that's a deception. It's not devotion. Another thing to know about devotion, very important thing, is that devotion must be exclusive. There is a condition in devotion which is very important, and that condition is that of ananyata, exclusivity. Devotion must be practiced only to God, first of all, not to humans, not to the celestial beings, devatas, and not to asurs or demons. Devotion must be practiced only to God. Devis and Devatas in Swargalok, these celestial beings, they are themselves under the control of Maya, as are humans, as are the demonic ones. So these are the three kinds of personalities that are in existence. They are Sattvic, Rajas, and Tamas. Sattvic Devatas, Rajas humans, and Tamasic Asurs, or people with demonic personalities, demonic tendencies. So the only one to love is God, and of course, the one who is non-different from God, true Guru, divine guide. As Bhagwan Shri Krishna says in the Bhagavad, I myself descend to earth in the form of your Guru. If we take the concept of ananyata or exclusivity, exclusive devotion further, then we understand that although there are uncountable forms of God, yet we must choose one single form of God to worship. Avatara hyasankhyeya hare sattu nidhe dvija. Scriptures tell us that there are countless incarnations of God. God descends to earth uncountable times. He has descended uncountable times and will continue to do so. But our mind, which is very worldly, finds it very difficult to focus on even one form of God. Then why should we try to focus on 2, 3, and many forms of God? That would be our mistake. We'd be holding ourselves back. So we should concentrate on one form of God. And the greatest saints, these are the Rasik saints, Maharasic saints, they suggest that out of the countless forms of God, we should concentrate on Sri Krishna. Why should we concentrate on Sri Krishna? There's a very logical reasons. Because it is easiest to focus the mind on Sri Krishna. It's not so easy with the other forms. When Sri Krishna descends to earth, he is very playful. He's a prankster. He performs the maximum amount of leelas, pastimes. The maximum amount of sweet stories are about Lord Krishna. So our mind finds it easier to connect to Sri Krishna. His playful nature, his merciful nature, his giving nature, he allows us to think of him as our everything, our Lord, Master, Mother, Father, a sibling, our child, our beloved, our best friend. We can think of him as our everything. So Sri Krishna is the logical choice. Logical choice. We didn't just pull his name out of a hat and say, I think I'll worship him. No, it's for a logical reason, a practical reason. There are 4 nectars that Sri Krishna displays that are not displayed in his other forms. For instance, there is Leela Madhuri. The pastimes of Sri Krishna are so many. There's so many pastimes that he has not performed as many in any other form that he assumes. There is, so Leela Madhuri is there, the sweetness of his pastimes. His Venu Madhuri, the sweetness of his flute. Sri Krishna plays a flute. And when he plays a flute, it's like everyone falls at his lotus feet. Everyone is mesmerized. So his flute has a special charm. and he reveals that charm to us. His beauty is such that even he becomes attracted. रूप देखी आपनार कृष्णेर होय चमत्कार आस्वादिते मने उठे काम. Gauranga Mahaprabhu says Sri Krishna is so attractive that he looks at his reflection and he falls in love with himself. That is a great miracle that takes place, that he is not only Swajana Mohan, he not only attracts the hearts of his devotees, he's also Swaman Mohan. He attracts his own heart. He is so beautiful. One day, Radha and Krishna were standing on the bank of the Yamuna River, and Sri Krishna happened to look at the water and he saw his reflection. When he saw his beauty, when he beheld his beauty, he was so mesmerized that he almost fell into the water. He became semi-conscious and he almost fell into the water. Good thing Radharani was with him. She held on to him and prevented him from falling in the river. One day, infant Sri Krishna, he was crawling on all fours and he wanted to go to his mother. That was a destination. Yashoda is the destination. He wants milk, and mother means milk. So he's trying to go to her very fast, as fast as his little feet carry him. He's walking on his knees, actually. He's crawling. So as fast as he can crawl, he's crawling. And as he's crawling on all fours, he sees his reflection in the floor, because the floor was studded with gems and jewels. There was so much wealth in Nandini Yashoda's house. They had so much wealth that the floor is studded with gems and jewels. So he sees his own reflection and he stops his movement. He just stops. And he wants to embrace that little child who's there, not realizing that's his own shadow. So when he could not succeed in embracing this most beautiful child he had ever seen, he used his mightiest weapon. It's not the Brahmastra. It is his tears. As a child, he used his most powerful weapon, his tears. And Mother Yashoda came running. What happened? Kya hua? Kya hua? Did he get hurt? What happened? She picked him up and he's pointing to the floor, the ground, and she cannot understand. She cannot understand what he's saying, but he keeps on pointing and pouting and looking at her. His lower lip is quivering and he's looking so sad. And every mother has a sixth sense. So Yashoda Maya finally understands. Oh, I know. You have seen your reflection in the ground and you want to embrace yourself. That's what it is. So Yashoda Maya, now she cannot give him what he wants, but she does the next best thing. She says, she gets angry at the floor, at the little boy, and says, you don't want to embrace my son, and I'm going to punish you. And so she goes like this with her hand, like she's slapping the floor, the ground. And Sri Krishna sees that this ground is the villain. It won't allow me to embrace this child. So my Maya is beating the floor, and so he's very happy with that. Now, talking about mothers having a sixth sense, I'm not a mother, but you learn by being around with kids. There was a little child who was dropped off for the first time in the youth camp in Yugalkunj, Atlanta. And I happened to be there. It was snack time for the kids. So his parents left, and I took this little child in my lap, and I sat with him. He was crying, and I thought he's missing his parents. And the kids were being given crackers to eat. And he said to me, I said, why are you crying? You're missing mommy and daddy? He said, no. I said, why are you crying? And he said, I don't like American food. I want Gujarati food. And I thought, we're just giving snacks. And he kept saying, I don't like American food. I want Gujarati food. He said it 3, 4 times. And then Oh, I understand. The crackers were goldfish crackers. He thought it was real fish we were giving him. American food means non-vegetarian food. Gujarati food means vegetarian food. And I said, this is not real fish. It's not real fish. Look, I'm eating it. It's a cracker. Then he was pacified. Anyway, that was just an aside. But Yashoda Maya, she understands what has happened and she beats the floor and and everything is good in his world. He's fine with that. He's happy. So simple. So Roop Madhuri is one of the sweetness that he displays um, as Sri Krishna, and he does not display so much of it in other forms. Prem Madhuri is another. The love that Sri Krishna gives to individual souls, it is complete love. He doesn't hold anything back. There's not much difference between Ram and Krishna, same God, even the same complexion. If you take away the flute and put bow and arrow in his hand, and if you have him sit or stand straight, they can't tell the difference between Krishna and Ram. So they're so much alike in so many ways. But Sri Ramchandraji says, I will allow you to love me as your Lord and Master and Mother and Father and your best friend and your child, but never as your beloved. You cannot accept me as your beloved. I will not allow that. I'm married already. I'm married to Sita, and I will not take another wife. Shurpanakha was Ravan's sister, and she was a great, great devotee, but outwardly she's playing the part of a demoness, like her brother is playing the part of a demon. The whole family is devoted, and they're playing parts of being enemies of God, with the exception of one who became Bhagwan Sri Ramchandraji's ardent devotee, Vibhishan. Anyway, so when she saw Bhagwan Sri Ram, she immediately fell in love with him and she said, I don't want anyone else. I want to marry him. And she boldly walked up to him and said, Tum sam purushana mo samanari. She made this desire that she expressed her desire to be his wife. And Bhagwan Ram said, Devi, I am already married, but you can go to my younger brother. Lakshmanji, when she went to Lakshmanji, and Lakshman said, "But Devi, why would you want to marry the servant when you can marry the master, the Lord? I am his humble servant." So she went back to Bhagwan Ram, and Bhagwan Ram refused her, and she thought, enough is enough. And she lunged towards Mother Sita, thinking this female is the cause of my problem. If she weren't here, he would have accepted me because she had transformed into an extremely beautiful young woman. Anyhow, so when she lunged towards Mother Sita, Lakshman was right there to protect Mother Sita. And so he cut off her ears and nose. And so Bhagwan Ram is saying now, if you think of me as your beloved, then the same thing is going to happen to you. But we say, no, I like my nose, I want my ears, so I will not accept you as my beloved. But Bhagwan Ram says, I will come back toward the end of the Dwapar age, and I shall come back as Krishna, and then I will allow you to think of me as your beloved also. And that's what he does. So Bhagwan Sri Krishna gives us all kinds of love, right? From loving him as a master to loving him as a beloved. All relationships are allowed. So there are these nectars which are special in Sri Krishna. And that's what makes Sri Krishna the logical choice to love. It's easiest to love him. The mind has so many pastimes to rely on. There is complete love that he allows. And so without thinking Sri Krishna is the greatest of all, others are inferior, that does not make sense. And that is, in fact, it's considered to be the greatest spiritual offense, that God does not pardon, that thinking of one form of God to be greater than the other, because it's just one God. However, it stands to reason that we should choose one form of God to love, and that form should be Sri Krishna's form, because simply because of the reasons that I have outlined. So ananyata, exclusive devotion. Another condition is that devotion must be constant. We must be in a constant state of devotion. Devotion is not something that is practiced from time to time. Devotion simply means love for God. So just as a person loves his family members all the time, you love your family all the time, not sometimes. You don't love them once in a week on a Sunday for 2 hours or every day for half an hour. You love them all the time. Devotion to God must be constant. It's like a word Maharaji uses is Taila Dhara Vada Vichin. And I've loved that word ever since I heard it first time. Taila Dhara Vada Vichin, meaning just like the flow of oil. There's no break in it. It's constant. So our mind stream must flow continually towards God and Guru. There must not be the slightest little break. It's just like the Ganga Ji flows constantly and it's always flowing towards the ocean. In the same way, our mind must always think about Sri Krishna. It doesn't always think about Sri Krishna. We're nowhere near that stage yet, but our aim is to get to that point where we are actually devotees, that we are aspiring devotees. We are, you can say, wannabe devotees. I want to be a devotee. I'm not yet. I'm a sadhak. I'm an aspiring devotee, but I wish to be a devotee. And a devotee, Vaishnav, that word is defined by the Bhagavad Puran as such. न चलति भगवत पदार विंदाल लव निमिषार्धमपि यः स वैष्णवाग्र्यः. The one whose mind does not stop thinking of God for even a blinking of an eye is a true Vaishnava. He's a true devotee. So we are wannabe devotees. We want to be devotees, and we are sadhaks. But aim should be very clear. Devotion is to be practiced all the time. You are a vegetarian all the time. If you are eating meat and fish and vegetables also, you cannot say you're a vegetarian. If you're a sannyasi, you are a sannyasi all the time. It's not like, okay, I am sannyasi for 2 years, and then for 2 years I'm not, then I am for 5 years, and then for 10 years I'm not like that. So devotion is constant. And for that, we need to be actively engaged in doing devotion, practicing it every day. And you've heard this many times before, and I'll say it once more, that sadhana has to be done. Our mind we must separate the mind from the world for some time every day. We don't even realize the amount of effect the world is having on our mind. Everything we are seeing, people we are seeing, the clothes we are seeing, the images we are seeing, they are affecting our mind. The sounds we are hearing, the words that are going into that our ears are listening to, they go straight to the mind. The food we are eating, is it sattvic, is it rajas, is it tamas? It's affecting our mind. This is why for devotees, aspiring devotees, it is said that you should follow a sattvic diet. Ahara shuddho, sattva shuddhihi, sattva shuddho, dhruva smritihi. Chandogya Upanishad says, if you eat pure vegetarian food, your mind will become pure. And with a pure mind, it's all the more easier to think about God. So whatever we are eating, whatever we are drinking, whatever we are touching, whatever fragrances, smells we are inhaling, they all have an impact on the mind. So to get some worldliness out of our mind, to make our mind more devotional, more thinking more about God, we do sadhana, karma sannyas sadhana. When we let go of all our chores and duties and focus on God for a good hour or more. And then there's karma yoga sadhana, where we think about God even while performing our duties, our daily duties. So that is important, absolutely essential, that we practice devotion. Shri Maharaj Ji has said, sadhana hi sadhak ka jivan hai. Devotional practice is the very life of the aspiring devotee. It's our lifeline. If we are not doing sadhana, then what are we doing? Then what we find is that we get into very small, petty arguments, disagreements, quarrels. In Hindi में कहते हैं तू मैं. Very good word, तू मैं. That, you said this and I did that, yeah, that. Like small things will bother us. They become like huge mountains, and they may not even be like mustard seeds. We find ourselves getting agitated and angry and frustrated because we've been in the world for so long, and we did not give the devotional atmosphere to the mind. So that devotional atmosphere is given when we do sadhana, when we take a break from the world, complete break from the world, and in which we just think about God and Guru. That is essential. That's also a condition in the practice of devotion that you practice every day. Karma sannyas and karma yoga sadhana. Another condition is that we must think about Sri Krishna in different ways. We must give our mind the variety that it craves. It's not a condition, it's just a helpful hint that we should give our mind, our mischievous mind, the variety that it craves. So as we think about Sri Krishna, we sometimes will think about him as a beloved, and oftentimes as the beloved, most often as the beloved, but from time to time as our friend, our child, our Lord and Master, mother, father, everything. Shri Maharaj Ji has said, Jagat Guru Tam Shri Kripaluji Maharaj has said, Dasya bhavena sakhyena vatsalyena yada kada nityam madhurya bhavena Shri Krishna sevyate maya. Go into Dasya bhav, Sakhya bhav, Vatsalya bhav from time to time, yada kada. But always, always, always remain in Madhurya bhav. Love Shri Krishna as a beloved by default. And then go to other relationships as your mind craves variety. So earlier today I was singing a kirtan, and it was about Sri Krishna being, everything about him is crooked. And I had a very nice Roop Dhyan, that everything about him is crooked. And so I was in my Roop Dhyan, I was straightening everything. Everything is being straightened up. But Shri Krishna doesn't like that. So he's making it teddy-meddy again. He's making it crooked again. And that reminded me of Maharaji. This once Maharaji was about to walk, and Maharaji's laces were undone. And I said, Maharaji, your laces are undone. And Maharaji didn't like it. I said, well, I guess he doesn't want that. Or Maharaji, your shirt is this or that. Maharaji did not like that. I said, oh, Sri Krishna doesn't like that I'm adjusting his crown and his flute. Everything is crooked. He wants it crooked. Let's leave it at that. But it was just a very brief, nice Roop Dhyan I had. I thought I'd share with you. So daily practice is so important. The mind, again, we have to go to the mind. The mind has to be ignored. When the mind says, you are very advanced devotee and you don't have to do this. That rule is for beginners. It's for those who don't know anything yet. No, unless we have practiced, unless we have attained God realization, we need to do sadhana. We need to practice devotion. हम लोग जानते हैं हम कितने गहरे पानी में हैं. We know exactly where we are on the devotional path, and it's quite alarming. So we need to do devotion. We do not need to listen to our mind, which says it's okay if you miss a day, because that one missed day turns into 1 week that's missed. That one missed week becomes one missed month, and then the month turns into a year, and then the year turns into years. And we have given up on our devotional practice. So we have to be very, very mindful of the mind. The mind has a mind of its own. It will tell us so much nonsense. We need to have our mind connected to our guru's mind. And that is very, very important. This is a warning to all of us that we must connect our mind to the divine mind of our Gurudev. Sri Maharaj Ji says, do sadhana. Sadhana karu, sadhana karu, sadhana karu pyare. My dear people, Sri Maharaj Ji calls us his dear people, his dear children. My dear children, practice devotion. Practice devotion. Do sadhana. Do sadhana. So we all have to do sadhana unless we become God realized. We have not. I don't know about you, but I know I haven't. So we need to do sadhana. We need to set our mind straight and say, no, you're trying to deceive me. I do need to do sadhana. And that 1 hour of sadhana is not going to be enough, because in that 1 hour of sadhana, we will probably manage to think about God and Guru for a few minutes at the most. That's it. Unless we have practiced a lot, many years. But, we are only going to be thinking about them for just a few minutes. And so that 1 hour is not enough. And so now wherever we go, whatever we do, we are going to be, we should try to realize and visualize that Shri Krishna is with me. He's everywhere I go. Kabir Das Ji has said, Tan kar mein man yaar mein. His explanation of karma yoga, you're doing your duty, but your mind is united with God. Karma and yoga. So he said, Tan kar mein man yaar mein. The body is doing works of the world, and our chores, our necessary duties are being performed by the body, whereas the mind is with God. And that is what we must keep in mind. The mind must think about God. And we should use whatever tactics we need to use. If you're on the computer a lot, then have images of God and Guru on the computer. If your phone is with you and your work involves using the phone a lot, then have the images on your phone. Any which way, we need to make sure that we are connecting to God even while doing our duties in the world. Again, one of the very brief but very sweet Roop Dhyans I had was, I'm giving a lecture. I was giving a lecture, and there are people sitting on chairs, and little Shri Krishna is sitting in one of the devotees' laps, and he's looking at me like Hindi mein bolte tukur tukur with wide eyes. He's looking at me, and I felt so good while giving a lecture. I'm just thinking, oh, look how he's looking at me, little Krishna. And he's looking so sweet. His eyes are so large and so filled with sweetness and love. And somehow it was a winter season. I remember him wearing a small fur coat, and he had boots on. But the funny thing is, I was doing this lecture in Trinidad, where it's very hot. But I think I was just missing the coolness. So Shri Krishna was in the cold. He was wearing winter clothes, and he's looking at me. And I'll never forget that. It was such a beautiful feeling. So wherever we go, whatever we do, Shri Krishna says, Yat karoshi yadashnasi, yat juhosi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurushva madarpanam. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9. Shri Krishna says, Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever charity you give it all dedicated to me. Dedicate it all to me. Excuse me 1 second, please. I know. So, karma sannyas sadhana, karma yoga sadhana, Sri Krishna mentions both of these in the Bhagavad Gita. On the one hand, he says, Arjun, be a karma sannyasi. Leave aside all your duties, all your obligations. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam braja. Surrender only to me. That is in the 18th and the final chapter. And then more in the beginning of the Gita, Sri Krishna says, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara yudhya, more like in the middle of the Gita. Shri Krishna says, Arjun, do your duty, fight this battle, but at the same time, think of me. So he recommends both of these, and Sri Maharaji has, as you know, has extracted the knowledge from scriptures, and he has simplified it so much. And so Sri Maharaji talks at length about karma yoga sadhana, karma sannyas sadhana. So this is what we must keep in mind, that devotion should be exclusive. We must be exclusively devoted to God. And there are countless forms of God, but we must choose one form. And for the sake of our devotional progress, we should choose the form of Sri Krishna. And that devotion must be practiced at all times. We must not trust our mind. We must trust the instructions given by our Gurudev. And we must try to do both sadhanas. We must do karma sannyas sadhana and karma yoga sadhana. And I will next talk about, my next topic would be details on karma sannyas sadhana. But for now, I will leave it off over here, and then we'll go into the question and answer session. Boliye Ladili Lal ki jai. Srimad Sadguru Sarkar ki jai.
Jai.
Are there any questions that you may have today?
Can I ask you, Didi?
Yes, of course.
So it has nothing to do with what you taught us today, but I just have a question. Um,
Sure.
so I was with one of my friend, and he's a scientist. So he said, "Okay, when um, if you're succeeding in the world, it's prarabdha, but you don't like to do devotion, that's a prarabdha also." So then I said, well, then you have to do prusarth, then only you can move towards devotion, because that's because of the prusarth you do get a job, you do PhD and you become a scientist. He said, well, no, that's not true. um, Purusarth doesn't have to do anything. It's all prarav. That's how you become a scientist, or that's why you don't do devotion. How do you explain this? I didn't say anything to him.
Mm-hmm. So he's saying that he's a scientist because of his prarabdha, because of
Yeah.
what he's done in the past. And if someone is a devotee, it's because of that. Um, it has something to do with it, but not everything. We don't know what we've done in the past, but we make an effort in this life. Purusharth is very important. In fact, the scriptures say that, as you may know, three kinds of karma, sanchit, prarabdha, and kriyaman, and they place the emphasis on kriyaman, what you can do today, now, the actions you can perform now in the present, those are the most important ones. So, Bhaiya, the thing is, people outside, they will, everybody has their own philosophy, everybody has their own theory. And when someone says that, unless it is for your own comprehension, yet you cannot explain to the other person that what you're saying is not right. What he's saying is going against the scriptures, against what the scriptures say. So if you're saying, how do I convince him? There's no need. But if you're
Yeah,
saying, I need to understand it for myself, but I think you do understand for yourself.
I do.
Yes. Uh, once somebody had asked Maharaji, so and so, somebody said this. And Maharaji said, what kind of authority does he have that you should even entertain what he's saying? What kind of authority does this person have in the spiritual area? And it's his mind is thinking this, but he there's no credibility. There's nothing. He's making a statement, that's all. And so it's not to be entertained.
Okay. Thank you, Devi.
Okay.
म्यूट अनम्यूट करना चाहिए ना
I should tell you that next, as I had said last time, we had the session last Thursday and now this Thursday, because next Thursday is the 3rd of July and I'll be in India. Following day, I'll be in India as well. So I believe the next time we'll have this will be on the 17th, if possible, because I'm not sure where I'll be, if I'll be able to. I will send a message and to Vikas. Vikas will send the message to everyone. And those of you who are in my community, I'll have it posted over there too. So if there's no more questions, we can conclude. But if there are questions, I'll be
Sorry,
happy
Aditi, sorry.
Yes, yes.
Radhe Radhe Didi ji.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe. Didi, one question following from what you were saying regarding Prarabdha and all. So just wanted to understand from my understanding, like what happened in India with respect to the airplane accident and all. A lot of us were affected by it, and a lot of people said, including my mother, like, well, what happened here? Like, why God did this? Or how can we, like, all 200 people's death was written at the same time and only one survived and all. So when such questions are put across, or even in the discussion matter, it does raises a point in your mind. Although you believe, no, whatever has happened must be a reason behind it and everything, but then it does raises a point, like, how is it possible, like, all those 200 people at the same time? Or was it something which God would have done? And I understand that God doesn't do anything. Basically, it's the result of our own actions and all. But yeah, how should we answer such things if somebody raises this point?
Right. Yes, it becomes very difficult to understand unless you have faith in the scriptures. And it was meant for all those people, except for one.
Yeah.
Look at that, except for one who they were meant to perish at the same time. And so they did. And the one who was not, he survived. He walked out holding a phone, I think. And another person, she said she was late. She could not make it to the flight. Now she was supposed to be on that flight. So this happens again and again, and these big tragedies. But there's some people who are left, who don't make it to the flight, who are late getting there, and they miss the accident, or they miss that act of terrorism, whatever it is. It does happen. But the answer is yes. All of those people were meant to perish at the same time. It was their death was predestined. It was predestined that they would die at that moment. Yes. Complete strangers, family members, everybody. Very sad, but it's true that they were all, nobody dies before their time. So it's not like there are some people who are not meant to die, but they just happen to be in the wrong place. It doesn't happen like that. God's work is perfect. So they were all meant to perish at the same time, and they did. Sad as it is. Yes. It's like so many people dying because of, let's say, tsunami, or some force of nature takes everybody's, drought, or not droughts, but flooding, let's say. So many people die at different places, family members, strangers, it was, their death had come, that's all.
And that's the other question, Didi, which I have is not related to this, but that in terms of devotion, like they say, when we are going through a difficult time, we are more devoted, we feel more connected to the God. Whereas but that kind of devotion is because one feels helpless and sad. Maybe that's also the reason of loving God and all. But the other devotion is when there's no problem as such going on, but then trying to devote and get connected and do the love God and all. So which kind of devotion is better? And or I'm not sure if better is the right word, but then which is the right frame of mind when we should be devoting or practicing devotion to God?
Right. Even when there's no problems in life.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. So naturally, when somebody's in trouble, they look towards God and say, please help me. They're reminded of God. That's why Kunti had said, give me problems in life so I could always remember you.
Yeah.
But if we are just remembering God when problems come, then that's not ideal. Ideal thing is, no matter what's going on in life, we are succeeding wildly and everything's going right in life. Yet I'm understanding that all this is temporary and nothing is mine over here, and only God is mine. That is the ideal. That I love God at all times, loving God at all times, under all circumstances, in all
But then,
conditions.
Didi, for the sadhaks who are just starting the journey, then wouldn't it be a better way, route where when there's not problems, then a sadhak is loving the God, whereas when they are surrounded with problems and all, because the mind gets distracted and there are a lot of things. So in terms of practicing devotion, which phase is better, or is that even a valid question? To be honest, not sure.
Let me understand it more. Can you say it once more?
So, for example, let's say if somebody is not getting married and the family is on all is and just worried about it and all, and because of that they start thinking and just saying that, okay, I will leave it to God, whatever God wants and all, and there would be a scenario where person is married and everything is going well, and then they just keep on practicing devotion and they just love God. So
Mm.
I personally feel yes, this one is a better second route because you don't have problem, but you are still devoting your mind to God. But the other one is more devoted. But then in this scenario where there's no problem, the devotion may not be that 100%. Whereas when you are in problems, your devotion could be at the level of 100%. Is that something?
No, and if you, first of all, we go with the premise that devotion to God should be without any conditions. It should be not because we want something from God, just that pure devotion, pure love, that I know Shri Krishna is mine and he alone is mine and he's my everything and he's infinitely merciful. So we're not expecting anything from him. So the devotion, loving him at all times in all circumstances. In other words, when things are going right and we are loving him, that's even better than just turning to him in difficult times. And when you're in difficult times, you're not loving him so that he may fix everything. That devotion, and that's another point that I am going to make, that next time I'll take that up. Devotion should be selfless. It should be without any selfish desires.
Okay.
I actually neglected to talk about it today. The devotion should be free from all desires.
Didi, I can keep on asking questions, but if somebody else wants to have a go, I would let them. Yeah.
I'm not sure. Vikas will tell us
Yeah,
if anybody
yes,
else.
Bhavani ji, yeah, one question.
Okay.
Namo Namaha. Ade, mm, is there any term like Akala Mrityu or
There's no such thing as that. So
why is
people
it
call,
mentioned so many scriptures?
yes, it is said. But I think people say that Akal Mrityu means somebody who dies too young. And they were very healthy, they were young, so it's Akal Mrityu, like death came before its time. But in effect, there is no such thing as Akal Mrityu because everybody dies when they're meant to. It's all predestined.
And does the gati depends on the mode of death as well? Like they say they
No,
don't get
not
good
mode of death.
when like snake bite or somebody murders or like that,
No,
drowning in the water.
no, our destiny, where the soul will go depends only on the actions of the individual,
Right,
not on anything else.
thank you.
Welcome. Sheila ji.
Radhe Radhe Didi ji. What
Radhe
I
Radhe.
wanted to find out, you had said earlier that the Roop Dhyan should be focusing on the Madhurya Bhav, first of all, and then any of the other bhavs, or not just Roop Dhyan, but the Karma Yoga Sannyas, Karma Yoga, Karma Yoga. Now, could you give me some examples to make it a bit more clearer, please? Thank you.
To make clear that, could you excuse me 1 second, please?
Just want to get some oranges for you. That's all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Sorry, Sheila ji, you meant the Roop Dhyan should be on Madhurya Bhav? Yes. What did you say again? Karma Yoga Sadhana should be?
The Karma Yoga that we do, the Karma Yoga sadhana, what if I remember correctly, you'd said that the focus should be on the Madhurya Bhav. And then we can keep going into like Sakhya Bhav, Dasya Bhav, other bhavs. But
No,
how?
I meant that for Karma Sannyas Sadhana, when you are thinking about Bhagwan, then Maharaji has said, primarily go with Madhurya Bhav, because that bhav, that loving him as a beloved, is the highest relationship. And every other relationship you have with him is subservient. So when you love him as a beloved, you have all the other relationships open to you. You have access to them. So Sri Maharaji has said that from time to time go into the other ones, but primarily understand that he's your beloved. And Maharaji had said, I have been working so hard with all of you to make you Madhurya Bhav devotees, but you people are stuck in Vatsalya. You always love to think of him as a child. इतने सालों से मत्थापच्ची कर रहे हैं आपके साथ, लेकिन आप वात्सल्य भाव से भी निकलते ही नहीं है. So everybody likes to see the little cuddly Krishna. Maharaji said, I've been working so hard to have you think of him as your beloved.
Ji. Thank you, Didi ji. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. We still have a few minutes left.
So, Didi, I know you will be traveling a lot. So once in a while we will not get together. But just letting you know my feelings, okay? So each Thursday I look forward that आज Thursday है 1 बजे दीदी से मिलेंगे, और जिस वीक में मुलाकात नहीं होती है तो लगता है कि कुछ मिसिंग है. तो I'll just say that कि if at all possible, meet with us every Thursday.
Oh, no. Yes. I know right now that I understand what you're saying, and I will try my best. Also because I will try to make up for the time that's lost also. I think I'm not going to be available for the next 3 weeks, but at least 2 weeks, I know I'll try my best to be there for the 3rd week. But point noted. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I enjoy these sessions myself. So, anyone else? Shaurya, are you good? You have another question? Or you want to say something else?
DJ, I was just hoping if you could just advise on few more tips or tricks, I would say, so that the Roop Dhyan becomes better, where we can do more practice of meditation and by imagining Lord Krishna, Radharani, and Maharaj Ji with us in front of us, and which will help in doing our devotion and Roop Dhyan meditation. If you could just provide some more tips and tricks.
Sure. Well, when you are, to do your Roop Dhyan, just the main thing is to think about something, some activity that is interesting to you. So you have Sri Krishna perform that activity, or just have him come into your house in your Roop Dhyan. He's in your house, and if you like cooking, then you're cooking for him. Even if you don't like cooking, you're cooking for him, and you're you're thinking of him sometimes as a child, and so you're bathing him. I don't know if that's what you mean, but I'm just
Yes, Didi, yes,
what
that's
what
what,
can
yeah.
you think about? You can you're bathing him, you're putting clothes on him, you are try to go into detail. What would I put ornaments on him? Do I put kajal in his eyes, colorium in his eyes? Do I what kind of clothes will I put on him? What does his lotus feet look like? Just to go into detail. Go into detail, and like I said, have him engage in the activities that you like, so your mind doesn't say, I don't like that. And whatever you like is what you should think about. Then you can keep your mind thinking about Sri Krishna more for a longer period of time.
So, Didi Maharaji, like he said that we should always imagine a Lord Krishna, Radharani, and Maharaji together, or something like combining them in that way. So when
You can.
sorry, Didi, I missed that.
Yes, I was going to say, Maharaji never talked about himself in the first person, but he always
Yeah.
said, you can put Radha and Krishna and your Guru together, or just the Guru, or Radha Rani and Shri Krishna, or okay, only Shri Krishna, or only Shri Radha, only your Guru. That's fine too. Any combination, any.
And Didi, also, like Maharaji, I think mentioned that we should always practice Roop Dhyan thinking they are 16 years old, but then sometimes the mind doesn't go there for the 16 years old because that was little time back. So
No,
it
it's
has,
okay. You can make him any age. I mean, there is a verse in the Vedas that says, you sometimes appear in the world as a girl, sometimes as a boy, sometimes as a young man, sometimes as a young lady. Sometimes you come into the world and you deceive the world in the form of a very old man walking with the help of a stick. So that's okay. That's all right. Shri Krishna, Radha and Krishna do not go beyond 16 years of age in Golok, but you can think of them as to be of any age.
thank you, Didi. Seriously, because last time when you spoke about the practices for what I can do, it really helped me a little bit. But yeah, the mind doesn't stay, Didi, for even just few seconds, and it just wanders off. So it is quite a difficult thing to do.
And keep on doing it. Keep on doing it. And yes, and God and Guru look at the effort we make. So keep on making great efforts.
Thank you, Devi. Thank you so much.
Most welcome, everybody. I will say Radhe Radhe to you. And please be well and see you in a couple of weeks. Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. Was somebody saying something? Did I interrupt someone saying something?
No,
Srimad Sadguru Sarkar Ki Jai. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri
Well, well done, Nabi. Really good. Very good.
Today they didn't take just one.
It must be blocked.